Donald Trump's interest in purchasing Greenland, though initially dismissed as unconventional, has resurfaced as a point of geopolitical interest, particularly in the context of global power struggles. Greenland, with its strategic Arctic location and resource-rich potential, is increasingly seen as a critical player in the competition for dominance in the Arctic region. He wants the Danish territory to become part of the United States, offering to buy the island. However, if Trump doesn't get his way, he won't rule out using economic or even military coercion to take it over. Part of the president-elect's reasoning is that the world's largest island is becoming ever more strategically important. It has a wealth of resources, including rare earth metals, uranium, oil, and gas. The total worth of these resources is unknown but estimated to be in the trillions of dollars. Rare earth metals, in particular, are vital for the future, as they are in high demand for new generation industries. Additionally, Greenland sits next to some of the most important global waterways, and its position will only become more significant as the Arctic region continues to melt and becomes accessible to trade. The emerging trade routes run very close to Greenland, and there is also a military buildup in the Arctic, mainly involving the US and Russia. The US already has an airbase in Greenland but wants more bases to keep up with Russia's expansion into the Arctic. To understand Greenland, we first need to look at its history. The largest island in the world is part of the Danish kingdom, with its capital, Copenhagen, over 2,200 miles, about 3,500 kilometers, from Greenland's administrative center, Nuuk. This connection dates back to 1721, when the Denmark-Norway Union officially colonized the island. Scandinavian Vikings had already settled Greenland in the 10th century during their exploration of the Faroe Islands, Iceland, Greenland, and parts of North America. However, they disappeared from Greenland in the 15th century, partially due to conflicts with the Inuit people. Interestingly, the Norse were the first to settle in southern Greenland, and the Inuit arrived later. While there has been mistreatment of Inuit under European rule, the story of colonization is more nuanced than commonly perceived. During the 18th century, Europeans returned to Greenland, coinciding with the emergence of global trade networks. By the 19th century, Norway was forced to leave the Union with Denmark after conflicts with Sweden, leaving Denmark in control of Greenland, Iceland, and the Faroe Islands. In the 20th century, Denmark gradually relinquished control over its territories. Iceland became a sovereign state in 1918 and gained full independence during World War II. The Faroe Islands achieved home rule in 1948, allowing them to handle domestic issues while remaining part of Denmark. Greenland's journey was slower. In 1953, it transitioned from being a colony to an integral part of Denmark, gaining 2 representatives in the Danish parliament. In 1979, Greenland attained home rule, and by 2009, it had self-governance. Today, most of Greenland's matters are decided in its parliament in Nuuk, which governs a population of about 56,000. Denmark still manages Greenland's foreign policy, defense, and certain economic matters. However, Denmark also provides Greenland with nearly $600 million annually in subsidies, amounting to about $10,000 per person or roughly 30% of Greenland's income. Denmark views Greenland as an integral part of its kingdom, and Trump's takeover proposal has sent shockwaves across the world. While Denmark has remained diplomatic, stating that Greenland can decide its own future, Danish officials have expressed doubts about Greenland becoming a U.S. state. Denmark's Prime Minister emphasized the close partnership between Denmark and the U.S., but behind closed doors, there is likely significant concern about Trump's assertiveness. Trump has even hinted at using military force or economic coercion, including imposing high tariffs on Denmark to achieve his goal. Trump's rhetoric has drawn criticism from global leaders. Germany's chancellor reaffirmed the principle of inviolable borders, and France's foreign minister stated that the EU would not tolerate threats to its sovereign territories. In response to Trump's statements, Denmark announced a $1.5 billion defense upgrade in Greenland, including airport enhancements to accommodate F-35 jets, new drones, and additional naval vessels. Public opinion in Greenland is mixed. While Greenland's prime minister has stated that, "We are not for sale," the island is simultaneously striving for greater independence from Denmark. Greenland's government is pro-independence and has used the publicity surrounding Trump's comments to highlight its aspirations. However, independence does not mean joining the U.S. Instead, Greenland seeks to separate from Denmark entirely. Greenland's history of conflict with Denmark over issues like the forced relocation of Inuit children and involuntary birth control policies fuels its desire for self-determination. The island's government is focusing on creating an independent state, but there is no indication that Greenland wants to become part of the U.S. Greenland's prime minister stated that while external opinions are welcome, the island should not be distracted by hysteria or external pressures. In the face of Trump's aggressive rhetoric, Greenland's leaders have made polite diplomatic statements, expressing willingness to work with the U.S. on Arctic security and stability. However, they remain steadfast in their position against being sold or annexed by the United States. Greenland's future remains a complex issue, with many residents prioritizing independence over any foreign influence. U.S. President-elect Donald Trump has proposed a bold and controversial plan, acquiring Greenland. Trump wants the Danish territory to become part of the United States, offering to buy the island outright. If Denmark refuses, he has not ruled out using economic or military coercion to achieve his goal. Trump's reasoning is strategic. Greenland is the world's largest island, rich in natural resources like rare earth metals, uranium, oil, and gas, with an estimated value in the trillions of dollars. Rare earth metals are particularly crucial for modern industries, including renewable energy technologies, electric vehicles, and advanced electronics. Additionally, Greenland's position near critical global trade routes and the rapidly melting Arctic ice make it strategically vital. The U.S. sees the region as increasingly significant for both trade and defense. The Arctic's melting ice caps are opening new shipping routes, and Greenland sits near these emerging paths. These routes could bypass traditional waterways like the Panama and Suez Canal, revolutionizing global trade by connecting North America, Europe, and Asia more efficiently. Greenland's location offers the U.S. a strategic advantage in the Arctic, especially as military tensions between the U.S., Russia, and China rise in the region. To understand the importance of Greenland, we need to examine its history. Colonized in 1721 by the Denmark-Norway Union, Greenland has been part of the Danish kingdom for centuries. In 1953, it became an integral part of Denmark, and by 1979, it achieved home rule. In 2009, Greenland was granted self-governance, although Denmark still oversees its foreign policy, defense, and economic matters. Denmark provides Greenland with nearly $600 million annually in subsidies, amounting to about $10,000 per resident. Greenland has a population of just 56,000, primarily Inuit. The island has long sought greater autonomy, with its ruling party advocating for independence. However, economic reliance on Denmark complicates this aspiration. Trump's proposal raises the possibility of Greenland receiving significant financial incentives. For instance, with a $5.6 billion investment, each resident could receive $100,000, a figure Trump suggests is peanuts compared to Greenland's resource value. Denmark is unlikely to support such a deal, but Greenland could potentially hold a referendum to pursue independence or join the U.S. directly. This would cut Denmark out of the equation, leaving the island to negotiate directly with the U.S. Greenland also needs significant investment in its industries and infrastructure, areas where Denmark and the EU have fallen short. Attempts to attract Chinese investment have alarmed the U.S., as closer ties with China could provoke American intervention. Historically, the U.S. has expanded its territory through purchases. The Louisiana Purchase, Florida, Alaska, and parts of Arizona and New Mexico were all acquired through deals with other nations. If Greenland were to join the U.S., it would follow a similar pattern, becoming the 51st state and benefiting from the U.S. federal system, which allows for substantial state-level autonomy. Trump's interest in Greenland isn't just about resources. The island's strategic position in global trade and its role in Arctic geopolitics are critical. As Arctic ice melts, new shipping routes are becoming viable. Russia's Northern Sea Route is already in use, and China's Polar Silk Road aims to connect Asia to Europe and North America more efficiently. Controlling Greenland would ensure the U.S. has a significant stake in this emerging trade network. Militarily, Greenland is a key location. The U.S. already operates Thule Air Base in Greenland, a critical component of the North American missile defense system. Russia has significantly increased its Arctic military presence, building hundreds of new bases and deploying advanced naval capabilities. Trump views Greenland as essential for countering Russian influence and securing U.S. interests in the Arctic. Under U.S. control, Greenland could become a fortified hub for defense, protecting against potential threats and reinforcing NATO's presence in the region. Despite the potential benefits for the U.S., Trump's proposal has been met with skepticism and criticism globally. Danish officials have dismissed the idea, while Greenland's leaders have stated that they are not for sale. Public opinion in Greenland is mixed, with some viewing closer ties with the U.S. as an opportunity for investment and development, while others emphasize the importance of maintaining independence. Greenland's future remains uncertain. Trump's plan, while ambitious, would face significant political, diplomatic, and logistical hurdles. However, with his reputation as a dealmaker, Trump may believe he can achieve what others cannot. As the Arctic becomes a focal point of global trade and military strategy, Greenland's importance will only grow. And that's the latest on today's top stories. What are your thoughts? If you'd like to dive deeper into any of these topics or explore related issues, feel free to leave a comment. Thank you for tuning in and spending your time with us. Stay informed, stay curious, and we'll see you next time. Take care.